Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we are here to talk about the future with Codemasters and the F1 2022 video game coming this year, in which I would expect hopefully sometime late June, early July, but of course we have no official confirmation of the game yet or official release date of course here. But what I am here to talk about to you guys today is 5 features that I think we should see in F1 2022. Not what we will see obviously, but what I think we should get, what I would love to get for sure here in the F1 2022 video game. Now let me know in the comments below if you agree with these feature ideas, and if not, what you would like to see as a feature in F1 2022 and beyond. But we're going to start out straightforward, very simple. One thing that I think should absolutely be a must, not something that I would like to see in general, but something that should absolutely be a must feature in this F1 2022 game is red flags. Red flags have become such a prominent thing in Formula 1 over the last few years, and you look back at 2021 and how many red flags we saw there. You look at Azerbaijan with a red flag to basically guarantee green flag racing at the end of that GP. We saw a few red flags in Saudi Arabia as well. I can't remember what other GPs come to my mind, but I believe the Silverstone GP as well had a red flag after Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen's collision there. So that's something that we're seeing a lot more often, and I feel like should be represented in the F1 video game, as well as it would of course add to the excitement and chaos of the game, as we already have an exciting and chaotic game every single time you look at one of my career mode episodes. You always know it's going to be quite chaotic, and we get that pretty much every time, and red flags would just add to that. But I think overall it would just add to the authenticity of the game, and I feel like that's something that should absolutely be a must in this F1 2022 game. Another mode that I would love to talk about, or a feature that I think should be represented here in F1 2022, is press conferences. Basically expand upon the already interviews that we can do. We saw it come into effect a little bit in the story mode with Breaking Point, and I feel like a lot of those Breaking Point elements could be represented in the driver career mode, my team career mode, and honestly wouldn't be too surprised to see if some of those Breaking Point elements got represented here in the next game in the normal career modes. But I feel like the press conferences should be just a little feature added on there, represented in the game, where you go into the normal press conference room and you're at a table of probably 2 or 3 extra drivers around with you, depending on of course your team and stuff, and you get to answer some questions from the media now, as it would just once again add to the authenticity, add to the personality, add to the feel of immersion in the game. And that's what I think we should really be aiming for in F1 22 and beyond, is kind of hitting with the immersion levels. And I have a really big feature I would love to talk about going into this next point. So expanding from the point of just immersion that I would like to see here for feature number 3, I should say, is with the career modes, driver career mode, my driver or my team career mode as well. I would love to see a more expanded just kind of immersion level, and kind of have almost even not necessarily a role-playing game career mode, but something along those lines, where during the off weeks and just the time in between some of the races, when we have the moments of going from one race to another, maybe the game brings up some kind of story event where you have to make a choice, like a life story that adds to the personality of yourself. It gets you more immersed in the career mode that you are playing, and I feel like that would be really cool. I mean, as an example, I'm traveling to my home GP or something here in the Canadian GP for the Montreal track, so maybe as I'm traveling there, a life story comes up, a life option, where do I want to visit my family or not, or do I pass on visiting my family, and that affects my reputation with my family. There's maybe like a family bar and stuff, like a reputation level for that, and a reputation for other things that could be up in your life, and you make choices based on that, and then expanding upon that even further, maybe make the money that we make in that game another incentive to do other things, a part of that life side of the game, where maybe I've seen represented in the NHL video games with their BR Pro mode. You can buy properties, you can buy cars, vehicles, etc. So I feel like adding that as well, where we can spend our money on luxurious items, so once again just build on the immersion, add to the lifestyle of F1 drivers, and just to the character that we're portraying in the F1 game and trying to live, where just in between races races, maybe have moments where instead of going to the team paddock or the team headquarters, we go instead to a property that you buy, and you're kind of chilling in your living room or something, a little scene right there instead. And that could also lead to more life moments in those situations, in those scenarios, and maybe have some cutscenes and stuff where once again choices come into effect and your reputation gets altered, where with your family or maybe with your team principal and stuff. I feel like that would be really cool. I know I'm going a little bit deep into that, but let me know what you would maybe think of a feature like that, almost like a breaking point, just more of a personalized experience where you have control of what you do, and just of course a lot more complex. The next feature is a feature I would love to see, and it's manager mode in the F122 game or beyond. I feel like right now you look at what Codemasters has done with all these new features in the F1 games year after year. They're always coming up with some new crazy idea and bringing something big to the game, but I feel like we might be running out of ideas to bring to the game. So I feel like something that is big that has not been hit on from Codemasters yet is a manager mode. So we have My Team, which, you know, has some elements of a manager mode. Well, let's expand upon that. You have the driver, the career mode, you have the My Team career mode. Well, let's expand My Team and turn into a manager career mode as well, where you take over as a team principal, but instead of ever driving the car, you never even get in the car, you never even sit in it, and instead you go to the races in more of the spectator mode, which is already a really nice mode implemented into the F1 game. So this could work really well. You have to watch from the spectator mode. You have an option to watch directly from the side of the pit lane where you see all the team principals and stuff, and sometimes in the actual paddock themselves, and you can maybe go back and forth between locations, and you have to work on finding sponsorship for your team, negotiating with sponsors, reputation with sponsors, reputations with drivers, keeping them happy, giving them what they want, etc., hiring pit crew members and making sure they're happy, and just from everything far in between right there, between all of that just web that works together. And of course you have heavy input on the development of the car, the livery, etc. And when you're trying to keep the sponsors happy, maybe they have an idea of the livery that they would like with the color set and stuff, and a percentage of maybe what color they would like to see on the car, etc. And you try to implement that in the livery to keep them happy. I think that would be just something that would be really, really cool. And of course, aside from that, you go into the GPs as the manager, and I guess I should actually be calling this Formula 1 2022 team principal career mode. But basically, next thing, you go into the GP weekends, and then, well, you have to try and manage the race like a team principal would. And of course you hire strategists that you feel like that would be fit for your drivers, and you let them deal with all the work. But maybe you have to make some hard decisions where, say, if you're Toto Wolff and you have to tell Bottas maybe to back off, you can take authority and tell him to back off of Lewis Hamilton, etc., or maybe now George Russell here in 2022. But just making some decisions that some team principals would make IRL, and I feel like that would be a really, really cool mode to bring into the F1 22 game. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they dabbled into an element like that, as they've already kind of started to with the My Team career mode. Now that I've got a couple of the big things that I really want in an F1 22 game and beyond out of the way, we're going to just end it off with a couple of smaller features, and we're going to start off with just simply the reputation in these career modes definitely needs to mean more. Right now, your reputation, it really, in my experience, hasn't mattered very much. I can have my reputation plummet, and I can really still have the option to go wherever I want. So I think that the reputation needs to have a higher consideration level of where you can maybe end up with a certain team if you're in the driver career mode, etc. and stuff, and maybe have reputations with select or specific drivers, or should say each and every single driver you have a reputation / relationship level with, and that might also change how they race you on the track. A little more defensive, less defensive, maybe if they like you more. Maybe they're going to be a little less willing to attack against you if they like you more versus if they don't like you. Maybe if you got a Devin Butler on the track, he's going to full send it up your inside here into just the Monaco hairpin or something. So just little things like that with the reputation just mean leaning more and adding more with the reputation system, I think would be really beneficial to once again adding immersion and personality and just more uniqueness to every single player's career mode. But the final point from that is, for the now fifth point I should say, is fixing, or not necessarily fixing, but changing the contract system in these career modes, especially for someone that plays in the driver career mode. Of course, my team is really what gets all the focus nowadays, but the driver career mode still a very, very high played mode on the F1 2022 or F1 2021 video game. But I would love to see the contracts changed up now, as basically 3 times, I think it is, per season, you're signing a contract extension. You have the ability to go to another team, and it just doesn't feel like I belong and feel like I'm actually a part of that team, because I can really just get up and go pretty much whenever I want here. 3 opportunities pretty much throughout the season. And of course, I would like to see the negotiation systems maybe a little bit more expanded as well. I'm not sure exactly what I would do to expand that, but I'm sure you guys and they could come up with ideas themselves. So let me know in the comments maybe what you would do with that. But those really the 5 things that I would like to see in F1 2022, sorry, and beyond, with a couple of small things, a couple of really big things with the manager mode idea, the press conference, and just kind of live the life of a Formula 1 driver kind of mode as well. But that wraps it up for me. Once again, let me know if you agree with what I personally would like to see. If you don't agree, that's fine, because everybody has their own opinion. I gave what I want to see. Now I would love to hear what you guys would like to see, and then maybe we can actually expand upon that in another video. But let me know in the comments section if you guys enjoyed. You know what to do. That does it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.